Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome to the Risen Fallen podcast. I'm your host, Mark Hendrickson. Today's date, it is September 16th. It is a beautiful Monday morning, and I'm saying that, but it is actually a beautiful Thursday afternoon for me right now. It's the 12th, September 12th, and yeah, I'm chilling out. I'm pre-recording this weekend because I'm going camping with my family, so I'll be spending some time out in the beautiful woods, in the beautiful outdoor, the good outdoors, spending some family time. And so I'm pre-recording this weekend. I know you might be asking yourself, hey, Mark, remember a few weeks ago, Mark, maybe you have a better voice than that, but hey, Mark, hey, I don't know what your voice sounds like. Hey, Mark. Hey. You're like, you might be thinking, hey, Mark, a few weeks ago you said you're exclusively going to do interview style, conversation style, have guests on such. And now this is the second time in a month that you haven't had a guest. And are you dropping the ball? Are you quitting? Are you falling off the wagon? Are you not sticking to your commitments? Are you falling short? Are you? And yeah, I've had all of those thoughts. So you don't need to ask. But my answer to that would be simply no. No, I'm spending time with friends and family and loved ones. And so even though you contribute so much to this podcast and you pay me so much money, all you sponsorships and all you people that listen to this and think, I should have a say in how he runs his podcast. Well, you don't. You don't pay me. And because nobody pays me to do this, in fact, I actually pay money to do this. Because I'm some crazy fuck who just sits here and talks to his phone, I can do what I like. And so because I'm just chilling out with my family this weekend, I'm pre-recording this episode here. And I just want to sit down and chat with you guys. And so I'm going to sip my coffee and chill on this Thursday afternoon before I head to jiu-jitsu. Go do some training, go to the gym. I thought I'd just sit down and chill and have a little chat because I finished my work early today, and so here we are. I was like, fuck, I gotta do something. Gotta do something. So instead of just chilling out and playing Pokemon or taking a nap, I thought I'd come on here and just chat with you guys. And so I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Monday morning. If you're listening to this in the morning, happy Monday morning. It is a beautiful day. And if you're brand new to this podcast, I know that it maybe not seem like it right now, but this podcast is, centered around self-development, mental health. I try my very best to stick to those topics. Sometimes I get a little sidetracked because I get a little bit pissed off in the world, looking at politics and doing different things like that. And wouldn't it be cool to be a politician? Imagine the one thing. I think being a politician probably fucking sucks in so many different ways. But one of the cool things about being a politician is like you can pretty much just go to any, place in the country, wherever you like, and you can just fake your accent where you could just imitate the accent of the people that you think live there. Like kind of just like maybe dress like them. If you're like our prime minister, you can maybe even like paint your skin color like them. And whether it's for a Halloween costume or you're trying to, pay homage or whatever excuses you use. But I feel like it's just like one of the only, I do home renovations, and I know for a fucking fact, if I were to walk into, anyone's home and just start imitating whatever accent I thought they were going to like the best or dressing a certain way to kind of, I would be probably unemployed. But if you're a politician, it's actually kind of like par for the course. It's actually kind of expected, like you kind of just kind of shift your values and your beliefs. And, like I said, sometimes your wardrobe or your even skin color or accent. And, it's actually par for the course. You're actually kind of celebrated for doing it. Unless, you're talking about the opinions of regular people, then they think you're a freak. But, I just feel like being a politician in that way, you get to kind of just play dress up. Like it's kind of just like you just get to play dress up and say things. It's kind of like a high school almost. And so that's why I find it entertaining. And it gets me riled up and it sidetracks me sometimes. But we like to stay focused here. We like to stay on track and because when it comes to politics and when it comes to the government and everything like that, like everything that would be expected in society is actually just backwards. It's so it's kind of funny. But anyways, sip my coffee while I sit here and just bitch to my computer and my phone. But hope you guys are doing well. It is it's a beautiful Monday. I'm assuming it's Thursday for me right now, but it's a beautiful Monday. It looks like it should be a beautiful Monday, and I like Mondays, so it's a beautiful Monday. It's a good time to get after any new exercise or any new things that you want to get after. I just recently had a conversation with Kevin Yarnell. We were talking about, just improvements of in mental health and your self-development journey. We were talking about just kind of, personally, I need to work more on going with the flow and being a little bit less rigid and being a little bit less binary in my, it's either, right or wrong or black or white or, I have a rigid mind that way. And so I have to focus on maybe going with the flow a little bit more. During our conversation, which I really enjoyed, if you guys haven't listened to that podcast recently, I'm really glad that I got to meet Kev and I enjoyed our conversation. I look forward to the next one as well. There was a point where we were talking about, kind of self-development and mental health and physical health as well. And we were talking about, the topic of exercising. And we were saying, I was like, like we were talking about what people need to do and what people should do or what people think they might need to do when it comes to improving their mental health and improving their life and just their mood and how they feel on a daily basis. And, I was kind of just going down the road of, my suggestions to people when they're starting to want to improve on these types of things is like, look, start to fucking exercise a little bit more. We're probably, if you're depressed, if you're anxious, if you're, those are the times when you start to be a little bit more susceptible to the voice in your head that says that you don't need to do these things. And then we start neglecting these things. And we all know that they're helpful for our mental health and our physical health. And so it's kind of obvious. It's like, yeah, you probably do need to start just exercising rigorously every single day, eating a little bit less shit, eating a little bit more healthy food, go for a walk, get some good exercise outside and breathe some fresh air, get some sunlight, get some fucking, put your phone away, do all these things, these practical, things that seem so like, oh, great, thanks for the fucking tips. But it's like, and he even posed the question to me. He's like, is that really going to impact somebody's mental health? And I see both sides of it because even when I was in, the bodybuilding realm, I was in the gym. I obviously don't look like a bodybuilder, but I was in the gym. I was doing bodybuilding type exercises. I was just mainly working out in vain. I just wanted to look good and feel good. And, I thought that was just kind of the way to go about it. It was like, I want big biceps and a big chest and fucking shredded abs. And, I worked out with a lot of other guys that were a lot more jacked than me and were in the gym a lot more and probably had a bit better chemistry set. And, they ate healthy, I'm assuming ish. Like they ate, these are like jacked people, like healthy people. And you can kind of see that sometimes when you just go down that vanity pathway of just like, I'm just going to look jacked, I'm going to look fucking shredded, and I'm going to look great. And you see these people always on Instagram, like with the guys and the girls are just fucking diced, just shredded to the gills, absolutely jacked. They're always posting videos and pictures of them in the fucking gym, smiling, eating their fucking Chipotle or fucking, whatever they do. And it's like, yeah, these are the people that go home and gossip about other people, and they, maybe they don't eat at McDonald's, and they, half the time they do. Half the time these people are just on so much clenbuterol and steroids and shit. They just eat whatever the fuck they want. And, like, I know people like that. Like, they're eating fucking dozen donuts after a gym workout and shit. Like, they're just, and it's not like. Or maybe it's just like they're the type of people that just kind of have like sweeteners in fucking everything. They're just like, they like judge people for maybe smoking cigarettes or fucking eating like something like that. But they're like, oh, but this has 0 calories, or this has 0 grams of, carbohydrates. This has 0 sugars. This has 0. And it's like, okay, why does it taste so sweet, but it has 0 sugar in it? Like, why is that? Are we going to talk about that? Like, are we going to talk? And so it's easy to go down this road of like, I'm holier than thou, like holy, like, I exercise, I do this, I do that, but for some reason these are still the same people that go home and compare themselves to other people. They gossip about other people, they talk shit about other people, they look in the mirror and they feel like shit, they have body dysmorphia, they have all these other issues, and it's easy to point your finger at somebody like that and say, well, it's obvious then that fitness doesn't make you feel better. It's obvious then when you see these people that are like gorgeous fucking human beings, like literally you take some of these guys or girls or whatever and you put them, you're like, is that fucking AI? Like there's guys out there where I'm like, what the fuck, man? I would literally, and it's so easy to just be in the position of like, fuck, if I could just look like that, I would just be so happy. And, you go down this weird vein pathway, this weird sideways vein pathway in fitness. And it's so easy to look at that caricature of a human being and be like, look at that person. And they are a fucking perfect example that, no matter how much you exercise, no matter how much you do this, no matter how much you do that, you really have to dig deep and look within and do all this spiritual healing and all this blah, 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 blah. And I agree with that to some degree. But there's a big but here. And if you're like me, you're a fan of the big but anyways, hold up. Sorry, I had to sip my coffee there. That was a good segue. But, so it's easy to look at like kind of those situations and be like, okay, no, fitness doesn't solve all your problems. And I'll be honest, getting jacked won't solve all your problems. Hot take alert. But there is something to be said about the fact that when you are exercising, when you are eating healthy, when you are doing your cardio, you're getting your, your rigorous exercise in, you're starting to stretch more. You're starting to eat a little bit healthier. You're starting to eat a little bit less junk food. You're starting to put down the fucking Coke Zero and pick up a water bottle. Something like that. And you're making all these changes in your life and you're implementing all these things. And, why is that so important? Aside from the fact that you have all these, dopamine systems and your serotonin system and your endorphins all firing properly because you're exercising more and you're eating better. So your organs are functioning better. You're getting better vitamins. You're getting better nutrients. You're getting less things that are hurting your digestive system and your body. And there's all these like scientific physiological reactions to, starting to exercise more and starting to, chip away and improve your mental health in that regard. You're starting to eat better, you're starting to stretch more, you're starting to exercise more, you're probably hanging out more with people, you probably have less energy to fucking do things that are destructive for your life. You have all these bang, 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 like dominoes just falling and hitting each other and pushing you in a better direction. But I think that the number one, metaphor or reason why it's so important to start exercising and start minding what you eat is because it's one of the most evident ways to display that even though you don't see the results on a daily basis, if you keep chipping away at something day after day after day after week after week after week, you're going to get huge, insane results. And if you're taking progress pictures and you're tracking this thing, it's easy after, days and weeks and months and, even years, if you stick to it long enough, it's easy to look back at progress pictures or even just to look at yourself in the fucking mirror and think like, hey, I didn't see these results coming. There was no promise. There was no, nobody showed me a product that I could fucking buy and purchase. It's like I kind of had this thing in my head and this dream and this vision, and I just worked towards it every single day. And even though, I had these temptations along the way, and even though I had, maybe people distracting me, or maybe I had, distractions come from within, I was still able to produce this result. I was still able to, make progress. And for me, that was one of the most transformative things in my life, was to be able to look at, myself and my progress. And, I remember even the first time that I, saw like a 6-pack abs for the very first time. Like I remember looking at myself in the mirror, like still, I think I even had abs for like months before somebody had said something about it. And I had like this weird body dysmorphia, being like, what do you mean? I can't have it. I don't have it. Like I never even thought it was going to be possible. And then when someone else noticed it, and then I noticed it, it was like, well, this was always a dream for me. And I did it. And though there's that feeling of like, okay, well, now what? Like, what now? Like, what's the next thing I have to chase? Even though there is that innate feeling all the time for a lot of us, driven people, there's still this like kind of feeling of like kind of looking at yourself and being like, wow, I never thought I could achieve this. I never thought I could do that. I didn't think that, because a lot of the time we have this self-talk. We have this kind of like self-affirmation. You look in the mirror and you write down on the little sticky note, you put it on the mirror, you see it every day. You're like, I'm worthy, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm this, I'm that. But it's a different thing to see like, I got my own back. Like I did this thing for myself. And the amount of confidence that you get, and the amount of, times that I've drawn back on my life where I'm working towards something and I'm not seeing results. I'm not, feeling motivated. I'm not feeling good about it. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I think back to my fitness journey and I think, dude, if you just do this for 45 minutes, an hour a day, if you just keep cracking at this, you remember that time that you got results from something that you didn't think were possible? And I just keep being able to draw back on that. And so like, David Goggins talks about that, the cookie jar thing, the whole idea. And so I just want to kind of give my 2 cents. I know I obviously talk about this. It's not a hot take. It's not a fresh, idea or opinion, but it's just kind of something to remind you guys of your journey, to reflect back on that. And just kind of, it is a testament to, because like, also often in our society, in our culture, it's like, we all have jobs. We all work for other people. And I think that a lot of us, there's that kind of like, we say we're hardworking people, but then we get to work. We get to do, what we actually do on a day-to-day. But everyone is like fucking 10 times harder working in their head. Everyone, if I asked you right now, like, how hard do you work? Most people would be like, I'm not the hardest worker, but I'm probably like 80%. Like I'm a hard fucking worker. And then, you go to work and then it's like, well, yeah, I just don't really work hard in this situation. Like, I just don't really work hard, like, when this person tells me, or, if this customer lips off to me, then I'm going to do this, like, I'm going to do that. Like, it's so easy to just kind of, like, in our culture, just to kind of pass the buck and just kind of be like, fuck it, I'm not going to do my best job right now. Nobody's paying me to do it. Nobody's looking. I'm just going to fucking sit on my phone for 5 minutes, or leave 5 minutes early, or show up 5 minutes late, or fucking, send a text in between every email, scroll through Instagram while I'm making my phone calls, or, whatever it is. Like everyone's like a hard worker until it actually comes down to doing the hard work. And I think that so many of us, if it's our money on the line, if it's our ass on the line, then the results come through. Like so many people are just like great during crunch time. And I think that, aside from fitness, aside from like kind of getting results you never thought you were going to see or anything like that, that one of the biggest differences that I've kind of seen in my own, life, or my attitude, or just kind of the way I feel about myself on a daily basis, is just kind of like my daily effort, my daily input into life. And I'm not talking purely about the output, like what it produces, though obviously what you produce in life is a huge fucking deal, and that is going to also add to your self-worth and your value. But when you don't have anything, like there's no fruit being produced in your life, when there's no, your efforts are not very fruitful, then you're going to have to draw on the pride of your effort. There's going to be seasons in life where we, fucking work our ass off and we don't get the paycheck we were supposed to receive, or we don't get the pay raise we thought we deserved, we don't get the extra holiday time, we don't get the extra bonus. Sometimes it's just that, we don't get the pat on the back. We don't get the, wow, thank you, Mark, you did a really good fucking job. And the only thing that you can draw on, even when you're not producing results, the only thing you can draw on is your daily efforts. And I had an experience recently at work where I was pissed off. I was getting to the point of frustration. I was, I'm working away on someone's house, and we kind of got the customer and I there was a misunderstanding. And, I'm not trying to air dirty laundry out or anything like that, but I was just basically we had an exchange, wasn't very awesome. I wasn't very proud of myself. I'm sure if he has any drop of self-reflection, he probably wasn't very proud of himself either. I'm not saying, I'm saying we both made mistakes. Takes two to tango. But anyways, I left that situation kind of just being pissed off and frustrated. And, it's very easy to just be well, fuck it. I'm not going to try hard for this person. I'm not going to try, they don't appreciate it. They don't deserve it. There's all these stories you start telling yourself in your head. And I realized, that on my drive home, I was kind of, thinking about it, mulling it over, sipping a coffee, having a internal conversation sounds like this one right now, where I'm just kind of going through this. And I start thinking okay, the righteous thing to think right now is I want to, regardless of, how I interact with the human beings that I interact with on a daily basis. I know the Lord wants me to do the Lord's work and build the best, thing that I need to build or whatever it is. And, if I just serve the Lord instead of this customer, maybe I'll just be in a better position. And that sounds like a great grandiose plan. And I'm for it, dude. I want to honor, just, the people that are willing to pay me to do the work that I do. And B, I want to honor, this whole thing, I don't want to just do a bad job. And the other side of it is kind of more the Mark side, which is I don't want to give this guy more ammunition. I don't want him to be oh, my contractor, my carpenter was a fucking dick. And this is what he built and it's fucked and this is wrong with it and there was a misunderstanding about this and this is how he left. I didn't want him to have that ammunition. And it might sound petty, but keep with me here. I didn't want him to have that ammunition. I wanted him to be able to say what he wants about me. When his friends come over and he's wow, they're like, so what was it like having this renovation done? And he's well, the carpenter, the contractor, he's a fucking lippy little fucking guy in his 20s and blah, blah, blah. But fuck, he did a good job. That was kind of the thing I wanted. You can say what you want about me. I might not be your cup of tea. I might be a little bit, rough around the edges at certain times of the day, or I might just kind of, catch me on a bad day. I might be a little bit lippy. It's not the first time I've gotten in trouble for something like this, but I want people to just be able to, there's something about when you have kind of the what you produce is just undeniable. And I'm not at that point yet where it's everything I touch is gold. I'm not trying to say that I'm a fucking perfect carpenter or anything like that, but it's I want people to look at what I do and be fuck, I might not like that guy, but what he does is sick. And I think that a lot of us, we allow the outside world, we allow outside circumstances, we allow people, and we allow different things that piss us off in life to trick us into being worse versions of ourselves. Less hardworking, more spiteful, more petty, more vengeful, more, insulting, more offensive. There's all these different things that, it's so easy to just see all the things that you disagree with in the world, all the injustice and everything like that, and let it just make you into a force of fucking evil. And I think that the more we're able to separate ourselves from that and say, look, I don't care who fucking pisses me off today, the more we're able to just be I don't care what happens to me today. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do my very best to execute at whatever I fucking do on a daily basis to the best of my ability. And then a little bit more, I'm going to dig deep and do a little bit more. You're going to see a lot of people that, maybe disagree with you, start to pardon a lot of the things that they disagree with, because they're like, look, he might be a little bit fucking rough around the edges, but, and everyone has that uncle where you're like, he says the things that piss you off all the time, but you're like, well, fuck, that guy was the guy that bought me a case of beer when I was 16, or, that guy was maybe that's a bad example, but, you have the uncle where that's like, yeah, okay, he says the odd racist comment, but he fucking picked up the phone when you called him and came down and changed your tire and brought you a fucking, bottle of water on a hot day when you popped your tire. I don't know. That's a weirdly specific example, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. We all know somebody that we excuse and we pardon a little bit of their, shortcomings, because at the end of the day, they'll fucking give the shirt off their back for you. And I think that is, one of the key indicators of, the type of people that we love, the type of people that we want to be around, and the type of people that, we'll go to bat for and we'll fight for. And I think that if you are finding yourself in life thinking, I wish I had more people around me that would do those things, then maybe that's something that you ought to consider. So on that note, we're coming up to a half hour here. I'm about to head out to the gym. I'm going to go do some training and hope you guys are doing well. So that's this week's episode. Next week's episode, we're going to have another guest on. Thank you guys for bearing with me today. I just sat down and wanted to say what's up. And so I rambled. I'm done rambling. Love you guys. Much love. Peace out. See you guys next week. Bye.